Mohara is like they're also doing a dig at like the Irish way of saying his name too. This is something that's like complicated for me as well. Like I don't fully know the details, but like it's a big part of it's unironically a big part of why Kneecap is what they are for the Irish folk in general, is that their goal is to restore the Irish language. Anyway, also some more good news. Kneecap rappers terror case. It was already bullshit. Shouts out to the boys, the absolute mad lads. They were innocent. They were innocent always.
The Kneecap rapper Liam O'Gohany has been thrown out.
Have you spoke to Speed about never changing his stance on Free Palestine? Yes, I have. It's even on camera at the last Streamer Awards. I talked to him about it. Nah, bad take. Fuck those losers spinning out with their cars. Ugh, God, bro. Listen, man. I understand the immediate dangers of things such as that. Okay? I get it. I understand it. The proper way to do that would be to make sure you do it in a parking lot. Make sure you get the proper clearance from the state, okay? I understand that. But in the absence of that, I'm not going to fucking lose my mind over it, okay? Let's continue. We're moving on. We're talking about Kneecap now. Another moment of vindication. Canadian minister acted on his own in banning Kneecap. I know. This is a legal case now, because now that the British case threw out the terrorism, the prescribed terror organization charge, promoting a prescribed terror organization charge, you no longer have any way of barring Kneecap from Canada or even the United States of America. Now, of course, the U.S. is a little different. They're massive dick riders of Israel, even more so than Canada. But it seems like the Canadian ban might not hold. And it was just simply, it seems like a rogue MP or something. Sources inside the PMO office told me that Vince Gasparo, member of parliament for Eglinton Lawrence, parliamentary secretary, went rogue and decided to bar Kneecap. Let's be clear, there's nothing legal about this. There's no official ban for Kneecap from the Canadian government. This is simply based on the whims of my cousin, Vinny Gasparo, who's a big fan of local lackey Adam Lee Wasserman, also known as Lee Stevenson, a.k.a. Chase, on his website. Okay. Speaking of Canada, important news, nationwide strike by Canada's postal workers to bring mail. Yeah. The hogs are turning on each other. I know. The hogs have been going crazy as well. We'll do some hog watch on the Charlie Kirk assassination as well. As you know, it's a let them fight moment for me. But let's take a look.
Following a technical error in the way the charge against him was brought. The 27-year-old, who performs under the stage name Mohara, was accused of displaying a flag in support of the prescribed terror organisation Hezbollah at a concert at the O2 Forum in Kentish Town, North London, in November last year. Well, let's find out more about what was actually said in court, what led to this decision, and we can speak to our culture and media correspondent David.
Bro, let's be real. It's not because of like the charging error and the technicalities. The reality is they went above and beyond. They got tuned up by some of the worst scumbags in the music business, and the same Hasbara operatives went nutty mode, okay? Why did they do that? Because Kneecap went on Coachella the first week and said America and Israel is committing a genocide, which is true, okay? They said a true statement at a music festival. Coachella punished them and changed the tent that they were supposed to perform in the second week, and actually didn't live stream their performance this time. Your boy was there. we live streamed it regardless. And obviously, a lot of the footage that came from that showed that they came out with a statement that said, fuck Israel, free Palestine. This made people go crazy. They were like, how dare you do this? How dare you say fuck Israel, free Palestine at a music concert? Remember Nova, remember October 7? Okay. And they lost their minds. You got Sharon Osbourne, you got all these like different scumbags, different pro-Israel scumbags losing their fucking minds over it. Okay. So they scoured through in the exact same way. In the exact same way that they always do, they scoured through hours and hours of festival footage, concert material to find anything that they could to bring criminal charges. And they urged the British government to take action. Okay? For something that these guys did in America, that these fucking dipshits were pissed off about, they urged them to take action in the UK. Because in the UK, there's no First Amendment. And also, there are prescribed organizations. So if you are found like even showing support or anything like that about any prescribed organization, you can be found legally liable. You could actually go to prison for up to 14 years. Okay? The very fact that the British government would even take action against a group of artists, like, or any artist whatsoever, for anything that they've done in a concert is insane. Okay? It is, even in countries that don't have freedom of speech, there's still plenty of room for interpretation because of artistic expression. The UK is no different. Okay? The UK is no different on this. Make no mistake. So the very fact that they had a Hezbollah flag, for example, could still absolutely be protected under artistic expression. So it was already a bullshit criminal case from the start. But in the process, how's your $3 million villa? Aha, very real laugh. Please talk about the assassination. Hasbara, is Terro Hasan pro-Israel? How's your $3 million villa? It's nice, man. Thanks for asking. This guy hit every line. He just glitched. Anyway. So, where was I? Oh, they should have never actually fucking brought these charges anyway, but they did regardless, and they knew they had no real case, so they quietly tried to drop it. Obviously, it wasn't going to be quiet anyway, but here we are. Now they're saying, oh, it's on a technicality.
So, David, take us through the legal points that led to this case being thrown out.
In short, they missed the deadline. This is all about a gig, took place at Kentish Town Forum back in November in London. Liam O'Hana, as he was described in court today, to his fans, of course, Mahara, was seen with a...
For those of you who don't know, like, this is a diss as well. Mohara is, like, they're also doing a dig at, like, the Irish way of saying his name, too. This is something that's, like, complicated for me as well. Like, I don't fully know the details, but, like, it's a big part of... It's unironically a big part of why Kneecap is what they are for the Irish folk in general, is that their goal is to restore the Irish language, right? And British people just simply can't say their Irish name, I guess. I don't know. It's just, but it does kind of feel like another, like, not so subtle dig.
Flag, a Hezbollah flag. He said it was something that had been thrown on stage at the time. He is not a supporter of Hezbollah or Hamas. But 6 months later, a terrorism charge was brought because, of course, Hezbollah is a prescribed terrorist organization. In the end, the decision was made that actual charge was brought essentially a day late, and so the case was thrown out. And the reason I'm standing here is there was a very large number of supporters here. There's just the final few here this morning. They've been here supporting the band Kneecap and Liam Ohana, and throughout it all. And he came out, and it was a huge crowd of people this morning, and spoke on stage saying this was not anything about what they were doing. This was all about their support for Gaza and Palestine, and saying this was a politically...
It's true. That is precisely the reason why this became an issue. And if you want to understand a similarity from my own personal experience, for example, me fucking interviewing a Yemeni dude became a major point of contention months after the fact, when people were like, oh, this is an avenue that we can attack this person and maybe even attack the entire platform of Twitch for not punishing this person. That's not how that works, right? Nobody gave a shit when I first conducted the interview, and in the interview, the person that I interviewed, Rashid al-Haddad, said that he was not a member of Houthi, even though the Houthis were not a prescribed terror organization. Okay, pick it. Even though the Houthis at the time were not even a prescribed terrorist organization, a state terrorist organization at that point, regardless. And even if they were, it's still a First Amendment protected act to interview a member of the Ansar Allah movement. So you can't get upset about that. You can suck my dick if you get offended about that. In any case, people lost their minds months after the fact. They try to make a big deal out of it. They try to manufacture outrage around it. It didn't go anywhere, but that didn't stop people from consistently be like, oh, he loves terrorism. He loves terrorism. He loves terrorism. It's the same shit here.
Motivated. But they have had a number of run-ins over the last few months. They have had their visas turned down going into Canada, so they can't tour there. But today, certainly, they were considering this a victory in court.
Yeah, and David, we're just seeing a bit more detail about the Chief Magistrate there at the
Ireland trip 2026? No, before. I'm either going to go in December or in the upcoming couple of months. I'm going to be in Dublin.
court. Paul Goldspring agreeing with Ohani's lawyers, who argued that the Attorney General hadn't given permission for the case to be brought against the defendant when police informed him he would face a terror charge on May the 21st. So as you...
Yeah, here is his speech, by the way, which BBC is not showing.
This entire process was never about me. Never about any threat to the public. Never about terrorism. A word used by your government to discredit people you oppress. It was always about what happens if you dare to speak up. As people from Ireland, we know oppression, colonialism, famine and genocide. We have suffered and still suffer under your empire. Your attempts to silence us have failed because we're right and you're wrong. We will not be silent. We said we would fight you in your court and we would win. Today we have. If anyone on this planet is guilty of terrorism, it's the British state. Free Palestine, Chucky Ireland. Free Palestine.
BBC not showing the speech, like the day-to-day skit of no. Okay. Let's not. There's too much to cover still, so I'm going to move on from this. But
say that
I'm going to
technical
finish this
issue
article
over
and
the
then
timing
and then
of
we're going to
this.
move
In
on.
his judgment, Mr. Goldspring said these proceedings were instituted unlawfully and are therefore null. And on that point that you were alluding to, David, of where music and politics cross, I mean, what are we likely to see on that front? Because Kneecap now right at the forefront of that discussion.
Very much so. A band formed, I think, back in 2016. They have, as a consequence of these legal difficulties, they have certainly attracted a large amount of extra attention. People aware of their music. Of course, they had the film, sort of semi-fictionalized account of their birth as a band, won a BAFTA award. So they have attracted a great deal of attention both for their music and for their politics, and this has certainly sort of brought them centre stage. They've had to postpone their touring in America as well because of this legal issues. But you only had to see the crowd when they were playing in Glastonbury this year. You realised, you know, all the questions have been raised about whether or not it should be live streamed by the BBC. It was recorded, then played out later. So there was essentially, they have certainly drawn a huge amount of attention because of all of this. And today, when you saw them arriving with a huge crowd of press photographers around them, and this place, christened Kneecap Hill today, absolutely filled with hundreds and hundreds of people. We are out in Woolwich Crown Court. I mean, it's not the centre of London. And when they were at Westminster Crown Court, I mean, they stopped the road. They stopped a part of London. So certainly this has drawn a huge amount of attention.